The technology was not available there, but I suppose it is going to be available in future to collect all the natural intelligences and then make it artificial intelligence and then guide people in terms of the future. But I went on to think and say this, it has the risk of altering natural intelligence. It can change natural intelligence because people who are going to be born in future, when they use AI, their own intelligence may get changed to the point they may become more dumb rather than becoming more intelligent. Possible. It is possible to use AI to make people more dumb for those who respect it more than their own natural intelligence. If you stop believing in your own intelligence, your native intelligence, and over-depend on AI, you may end up as a dumb fellow. This is what is I have reason for saying this. It's a new religion that has phenomenal capability to integrate people. It's a new religion that can integrate people or divide them and destroy them. And my conclusion is, make it to serve you for sustainability, but let it not master you. Make it to serve you for sustainability, but don't let it master you. The reason why I thought of this small experience in my own family with my wife. I love her. She does a lot of things for me. And during the COVID time, my respect for her has phenomenally gone up. I never thought of how much she has contributed in my life until the COVID came, when I started cleaning the floor along with her, washing utensils along with her, and even offering to cook food along with her. Those couple of years, the amount of work that goes on, we have 3 children, I think what she must have gone through all those years, she never complained, took it on. I think she's a wonderful person. But there are a couple of things on which I still have disagreement. It's very difficult for me to convince her. We have a helper who comes at 10 o'clock and works for an hour and a half. And all our lives centers around her. Suppose we want to go out, she says, no, the helper will come. So I can't go out. Or 11:30, she will take this much of time. Interesting. So the helper is meant to help us, but our life has centered around somebody, an instrument for helping us. What a pity. Even we can't go on a holiday because she says that no, I think she's going to take holiday next week, then let us go, not now. So we have become dependent on her. Interesting. Another thing, I had about 3 years ago stent inserted, and I'm a borderline diabetic. I don't too much believe on these diabetic theories and all that. It's around 140 to 160. And I have heard so many doctors who say, don't worry about it. These are all measures fixed by pharma companies. Don't believe in it. To some extent may be true, but I think I take one tablet just to make a difference. Now see how much it decides our life. My wife calls me up to say, have you eaten food? I said no, but please eat food because you have to take the tablet. So taking tablet is the reason for me to eat food. I don't want to eat food. No, you have to take tablet, so you eat food. So a tablet is created to take care of the diabetic, but it has become the master of our life. This is what is likely to happen if you worship AI too much, if you don't know how to use AI. Because AI will determine our lives. Now I'll go on to tell you a couple of stories. About sometime in Achilles year, Achilles, one of the leaders we covered in our book, Leaders in the Making, Arvind Agarwal and I wrote, I'm sure some of you know, 30 leaders who made a mark in our country, we picked up and we documented their life stories and then derived competencies out of them. When we wrote this book, one of the people invited us, this is almost about a year ago, invited us for giving a talk, and both of us said that we'll give a talk. The question asked was, you must tell us what is the impact of ChatGPT in the lives of these leaders. Both Arvind Agarwal and I never heard of ChatGPT. What is this ChatGPT? So we said we will answer all questions except this because we don't know what ChatGPT is. This is almost a year back. Later we heard so many places ChatGPT is a new AI tool. So I went and downloaded ChatGPT. And the best way to test any AI tools is to test the truth. What is the truth? If I am T.V Rao, that is the truth. If I have written 60 books, that is the truth. If HRD Missionary is one of my books, that is the truth. So I was curious and I put in ChatGPT T.V Rao's contributions. ChatGPT said, we don't know T.V Rao. Atrocious. I put HRD Missionary. Then lot of explanation about missionary, nothing about HRD. I said this ChatGPT is useless. It's not, all people are praising for it. 3 months later, I was invited by a university to deliver a convocation address. University deliver a convocation address. All people were sitting there. Somebody started reading about my biodata. An interesting thing, most of you know, my PhD is from Sardar Patel University, Masters from Osmania, BSc from Andhra University. I worked with National Institute of Health Administration, Delhi. The person who started reading out my bio, you don't bother, but you are a chief guest at a convocation and somebody starts reading out the important data. T.V Rao is a PhD from the University of California. My God, I never visited University of California. He went to Harvard Business School and topped the batch there. Horrible. And it went on. After about 3 sentences, I said, I think you invited a wrong T.V Rao. I'm not that T.V Rao. Then I discovered this was all downloaded from ChatGPT. My God. I think. So I wrote a blog. Those of you who are following me on LinkedIn, I wrote a blog there saying how much ChatGPT can mislead because it is not available. Now, about a week ago, we were interviewing MBA students in HR to be recruited into our company. One of them was a technology guy doing his master's in HR. I was generally discussing and asking his views about AI. He suggested to me, I think there is a particular website on AI tools. I had a little bit of a discussion, he said it's available. I went to the place and picked up the AI tools and then started giving questions. Just like that. Now this time I said, let me ask something not about myself but something else. So the question I asked was, I want to know if achievement motivation training is being used in entrepreneurial development programs. Just achievement motivation training, because I mastered achievement motivation in 70s, worked with McClellan and also evaluated the EDP programs. Then what comes the answer? Achievement motivation training is indeed used in entrepreneurial development. It focuses on enhancing an individual motivation, drive, and goal-setting abilities to achieve success in their entrepreneurial ventures. This type of training helps entrepreneurs to develop growth mindset, self-confidence, and the ability to overcome obstacles and setbacks. On dot, 100% excellent answer. I'm happy because I know. Only thing I didn't know is it is still being used. And AI helped me to update and say, yeah, it is being used. Then I became very curious. Of course, it said, the AI tool said, if you want more information, specific information, could you please clarify what aspects of achievement motivation training are you interested, or any particular challenges you are facing in your entrepreneurial journey? I think it's nice to be called my journey as an entrepreneurial journey. I don't know how AI got it to a certain extent too. Then I became a little naughty. I specialized in achievement motivation training and evaluated its impact. Impressed by my work, this is what I wrote in the ChatGPT. It's not ChatGPT anymore, it is a bot, a particular AI bot. Impressed by my work, David McClellan himself invited me to Harvard. In recent years, I am not using AMT, would now like to use it. I just left it there. But came 2 seconds, the answer. That's impressive that you specialize in an achievement motivation, appreciation, training, achievement motivation training, and had the opportunity to work with David McClellan. How could it formulate all this? Yeah. It sounds like you have a strong background in this area. If you are interested in incorporating achievement motivation training in your current entrepreneurial endeavors, here are the few steps to consider. Step number 1, assess your current entrepreneurial goals. I'll not read out the whole thing. There were 9 points that the AI tool has given. Review the latest research. Adapt and customize the training. Develop a training plan. Pilot and gather feedback. Now, all these could be standardized responses fed into the AI, but these are all very useful, relevant responses. Then I asked, still not here. I became still not here, and I wanted to see how intelligent is this bot AI tool. I then asked a question, very personal question related to my company. I started my company 28 years ago. Those of you who know, TV Rao was started in the year 1996. We are highly specialized HR consulting firm. We trained our competitors as we love sharing our expertise. It's true, this is what I believe. We remained stagnant. Our annual turnover remained the same for last 15 years. Any thoughts for the future? Good to ask, no? This is the guidance. Now, response in 2 minutes. It's recommended. It's commendable that you have been sharing your expertise and training your competitors in the HR consulting field. What a response. It's commendable that you specialize in HR and you have been sharing your expertise in it. All in 2 seconds, the response, but came on. However, if your company has remained stagnant with no growth in annual turnover over past 15 years, it may be time to reassess your business strategy and explore avenues for future growth. Here are a few thoughts to consider. Thought 1, market analysis, value proposition, etc., etc. I think wonderful thoughts that my attitude and my own orientation to AI has got changed in the last 10 days. Gradual change from not finding anything ChatGPT to now seeing AI tools. What a wonderful. Now, I'm now doing kite flying. What I keep telling people, I'm flying kites. Those of you who have seen my post in LinkedIn, kite flying is thinking in the air, top from above, like the kite, you go and then see this. And this has a lot of meaning. And I want to conclude, what is the role of HR? What should HR people look for? Will this create jobs or will this, these are all the conclusions I will draw before I conclude. But I think some of the thoughts. As I started thinking about this, I could imagine 5 years from now. Now today, what is in currency in the HR field? Very much in currency is coaching. They have coaches. You are certified by Coaching Federation in Madras or Singapore or USA. There is a international coaching federation. You take a certificate, you become a coach. And there is a lot of coaching in the last 5 years. Many people are becoming coaches. If you are not sure, go to LinkedIn and put the term coach. You find many people are life coaches. Here we had some of the life coaches and coaching. Now with this kind of responses, now I'm reasonably certain 5 years from now, there will be coaching machines. There will be coaching machines 5 years from now. You don't need people to coach. There will be a machine. Only thing is, the coaching machine will ask you a few questions. What is your problem? You state your problem. What is your issue? What do you want to know? What are your objectives? 4 or 5 questions you ask the machine, and the machine searches its database, because database is global, cumulative. It's cumulative, global, dynamic, intelligent. It adds like the intelligent answers I have got. So if you put all those people who got certified by Coaching Federation, if all their data, their coaching data, each one, you don't get certified unless you have completed some 200 or 300 coaching sessions. Supposing you documented each one of these, and after that you continue, I think you're doing maybe thousands. Akhil, I think coaches, CEOs, suppose for each CEO you coached, I think all the data, whatever happened, transactions are, that is intelligence. That is how I think all these AI tools work. Because it is based on all our intelligence, all our work. It is cumulative like Google. You ask Google any question, Google answers you. So you put all this. So supposing somebody invents this, it's not too difficult to invent this, I understand, because the AI chaps say that, look, we only need to work with some HR consultant. We're doing some work with the Oracle. They say that, look, this is what we are. We have some understanding of the HR people and so on. If they are able to put all of this, I think the machine intelligence, with the machine will be able to coach you. Like when I said that, look, I am stagnating for 15 years, now what I want to do, there are thoughts that are given. So some CEO can go, or why a CEO? A line manager can go, a HR fellow can go, anyone can go, an unemployed student can go and then ask the machine. There is a coaching available. 5 years from now, but it may take another 5 years for it to. So there will be coaching machines. And the coaching machines. Now the question to ask is it a threat to all those who started a new profession, new occupation, new source of earning by being coaches? The question that I would ask. I'll answer this question. I'll point out so should the coaches today across the country, there must be a few thousands of coaches. I think Coaching Federation of India keeps organizing seminars and conferences and so on. So should they feel threatened because AI, there will be machines which will coach, I will be jobless? Or should they? Now there, the only thought that I have is something which you have invented, you don't let it master you. If there is a coaching machine, the technology people are not going to stop manufacturing coaching machines. They will make it. But if you are a coach, do you want to oppose it, or do you want to say that, no, let me use this? Now, in order to use the coaching machine, and if you are a certified coach, what is it that you need to do? I think this is a question. And when you start mastering the coaching machine and using it for enhancing your effectiveness as a coach, coaching will spread. This is what is. Because coaching today is done by a few CEOs who can afford it. Tomorrow, even a supervisor who has a problem will go to a coaching machine. A union leader will go to a coaching machine. A teacher will go to an unemployed student will go to a coaching machine. They also need help because it's not automatic. They need a lot of other coaches to help interpret, to give, because all said and done, ultimately a human being loves another human being and not a machine. So machines are never going to replace the human beings, and it is human beings who should be able to do all of it. Now this is what is going to happen in terms of the future. Now I want to come back to, after having pleaded enough in terms of saying that we should master, AI is going to take over, whatever happens. But we are the ones who are inventing or who are doing all the AI tools. So we need to master them and then say that you listen to what I say. You don't take over me, I will take over you all the time. This is our essential thesis. Now, having said all this, I want to get back to, now this needs a phenomenal amount of insight, courage and thinking on the part of HR people. Now I was thinking about HR, what is the status of HR? When I looked at HR, now I'm going back to 1975 when Uday Parikh and I started the first HRD department, where HRD was defined as culture building, commitment building, and competence building. This definition 50 years after it was invented, is sustainable. There is no better definition of HRD. It is still competence building, culture building, commitment building. Today we are saying culture is the next CEO. Get a CEO who can sustain the culture. Sustainability is, the definition is not changed. It's sustainable. And it is agile, because those of you who have read our report, we identified 14 roles of HR. If I look at all the 14 roles and keep tick marking the current HR people, how many of these their roles are they are performing, it may be about 25 to 30. 70% of the work that was envisaged, role that was created in 1975 is still not being done. So it's relevant, it's agile, and it is also knowledge efficient. Now, why I'm saying this? This is the natural intelligence we have had. It's not. I'm not to say that Uday Parikh and T.V Rao are intelligent, but I think we derived it from what L&T managers at the time have said. I'll tell you a little more story. In the 1975 report, this chapter I wrote. Uday Parikh conceptualized it, and I wrote this report. We introduced the term attributes, later became competencies. Every job, every role can be analyzed to be done well by 3 categories of competencies. Now these have become 5, at the time 3. Managerial skills, technical skills, and behavioral skills. 3 types of skills. That was the time, Harvard articles and all of them have come up. For any job, we came up with this equation. What are all the managerial skills? What are all the technical? It will be T1, T2, T3, T4, M1, M2, M3, M4. I think these are all, in a company, you can put all of them. These are all skills that are. So, given role is equal to, can be conceptualized, X, Y, Z kind of, I think is a big equation. Same way, an individual also can be assessed to have skills. You can have these counter skills on the kind. So you can make an individual profile, and you can also make a profile of the role. Every company, if you have 200 roles, you can profile 200 roles. Those of you who are doing competency mapping, you are doing this very well. You have done this. 1975 we wrote, your data storage should be such that any employee resigns or leaves your company at any given time. The employee had a code. Every employee has a code. You feed the code to the computer. 1975, remember, our computers have not developed. There were no laptops. We only had IBM 360 at the time. That was the biggest computer. Even in IIM Ahmedabad and PRL, these were the 2 places we had that big kind of a computer at the time. But we conceptualized it. We say, the moment an employee leaves the company, you feed the employee number. The computer will give you, after matching in its database, the most potential 8 or 10 candidates who match the competencies are required by the role which this employee has vacated. So at the press of the button, the computer will automatically give you. This is 1975. For this, what do you require? Now you think about it. All of you, the students of HR who are sitting here, you think about if the computer has to give you, when an employee leaves the company, at the press of the button, a list of 8, 10, whatever people, or it can also say that no, we don't have any matching competence in this company. 8, 10 people. And not only it gives you the list of those 8, 10 people, it gives you for each individual, this individual has this skill in abundance but lacks this particular skill. It may be managerial, etc. And in order to help this individual do a good job, you will have to do this kind of an investment. This is what was envisaged in 1975. It's all computer gives. 1995, 20 years later, Oracle and other post-liberalization, many IT companies from other countries started coming here and setting their shops. Oracle, I think it's around this time, 93, 94, they entered here. And in order to promote themselves, Akhil, you might remember this, Oracle and other companies, in order to promote themselves, they started having breakfast meetings. And in the breakfast meetings, they will invite experts like me to talk about, by the time PeopleSoft has not come. So, meetings to talk about the opportunities for IT ITification of HR and other kind of. So they asked me to talk in Oberoi Hotel in Bombay. They called me. They called all the CEOs and vice presidents of companies, and they said, Professor Rao, what is the scope for this? So I gave this talk about 95. Then I asked Oracle people, do you have any mechanism today at the press of the button when an employee leaves, the computer gives a list of people with the list of competencies they have and the training needs that they have and the return on investment they are likely to. 95. They said, sorry, we have not yet grown to that level. 2023, have they grown to that level? I have serious questions. They have developed, not Oracle, ask any IT company, a lot of software. No, they have phenomenally progressed. There are HR people working in some of these companies. There are a lot of IT-driven HR systems. But nowhere near. Can a computer give you a list of developmental needs of an individual? Why not? If your PMS is good, if your recruitment is data-based, if your KRAs are entered, even before the annual appraisal time, within 3 months, the computer should be able to say this person is doing well, track the individual's performance, and give you the developmental needs, and which has, I think, impact on the training and development. If you have good AI, this is what will happen. This can happen. But this has not happened. Why this has not happened? I want to go back to the point that I have mentioned in the past. We have become target dependent, system dependent, and we became pawns in the hands of technology. What do I mean by this? I reviewed, most of you know that we worked with the Steel Authority of India on their performance appraisal system, introduced a number of interesting kind of things, both Uday Parikh and I, and there were films that were made on this and so on. This is 85 to almost about 95. Sometime in 2005, with IT development, we wanted to put KRAs online. Every single employee of Steel Authority of India, for that matter, now you look at any of the public sector, your KRAs and KPIs, key performance indicators, everything is can be fed into the computer, and it can be monitored, and it helps in terms of the annual appraisal so that there is objectivity. So at that time, SAIL asked me that, okay, this is a very good, we have accepted this system, but we need IT help. Which company would you recommend that we go to? I said, don't go to any IT company. Because when you go to an IT company, they will thrust on you the program they already have. But they will say, we'll adapt it. The framework is theirs. Adaptation is only to maybe 10% or 20% it. You ask your IT company and HR to work together and develop a system so that the chairman sitting in Lodi Road is able to know each employee's KRAs at any given point of time and how the person is progressing. No IT company would give you at that time the program. They will have other kind of things. Even today, I think they have improved in terms of the architecture of the performance management, but nowhere near this particular thing that it can automatically give you all this. But I think why this has happened? This has happened because HR has not involved itself in technological innovations. HR always treated themselves as subservient to technology. Either they said that is not my cup of tea, because normally we go to HR when you are not good in maths, and IT requires maths, IT requires a systems kind of a thinking. Sorry, this is a totally mistaken identity. It's a mistaken understanding. It does not require any of this. It requires common sense. And nowadays all of it can be acquired. This is what I think. Now why do I say that? I myself can't write programs. I don't know, I hadn't tailored it. But I say this because I have seen in one company where I was doing 360-degree feedback. You know what 360-degree feedback is? There is a tool, the tool has to be modified, it has to be sent to seniors, juniors, others, data have to be collected, data have to be tabulated, and then the feedback automatically generated, even developmental needs are generated and given to the employee. So in this company, very well-known company, I won't name the company, the top management said, we have done it for the top 50 people. Now we want to extend it for the remaining 500 to begin with, and later the 5,000. So where do we go? So they asked their own IT department, can you do this? They said, we require 6 months. A HR executive, a fresh HR graduate, said, sir, I can do it if you give me the freedom. The company gave freedom. Within 2 months, she did the whole thing and put it into operation. And today that company is using the IT system that was developed by this girl. This is being happening for the last 10 to 15 years. So this girl as a HR person said, I can do it, learned a little, worked with an IT person, and so on. So therefore, what do I want to conclude? I want to conclude technology is a great opportunity for sustainability, agility, anything that you want. It gives us a great opportunity. But if you say it's an opportunity, I am threatened, etc., and I don't want to master it, I want to use it, okay, then I think you are missing the boat. But if you say it's an opportunity, I want to master it, it's at my service, I want to dictate terms, I want to work with other people, I will tell them what is the kind of thing that is required. I think then the entire HR fraternity or the training and development fraternity is placing themselves at a higher pedestal, and they become change agents of the world. World, not HR, world. Why? Because nothing is going to move in the world without people. Everything, you go to politics, it is people. Business, it is people. There is no business without people. Marketing, finance, anything you talk of, it is going to be people. Entrepreneurship, startups, it is people. Failures, it is people. It is only people. The moment you say HR is not merely recruitment and performance appraisals, HR is people, understanding people, we put ourselves in a totally different pedestal. Because it is these people who create the technology. It is these people who create the technology. If people create the technology, we should be scared of the technology. We should understand these people. How do we create such people who can create more technology? The moment a HR person or a people person sees the entire world is a laboratory for understanding people. Because with technology, people are becoming complex. Please understand this. With technology, people are becoming more and more complex because they are walking with the world in their pocket. How their emotions are going to be influenced, what kind of thinking goes on, what is the knowledge level, it is ever changing. It's not anymore what it was like 15, 20 years ago. It is changing. People are complex. To understand people, anybody who designates himself or herself as a HR manager, you should stop doing everything and focus only on understanding that set of people with whom you are likely to work with. You can never do HR in a company if you don't understand the workmen or the union leaders or your top management. Whatever are the people with whom you are working, whether you are doing training needs identification or organizing training programs, it is people. So the moment you define HR as people, the world at large, your entire orientation is not limited to the textbooks you read in the schools and colleges. It becomes everyday laboratory. Like, I think, interesting research papers that were presented. As I was listening to these papers, a lot of thoughts were coming. I mean, this is about people. This is very interesting kind of a thing. So this is one. And once you decide that HR, therefore, is dealing with people, my job is to constantly understand, it is a never-ending kind of a field. Your respect for yourself goes up. Your respect for technology, and how do I master the technology? So in conclusion, what I want to say is, people are those who are in HR. By HR, I mean everyone, training and development, personnel, whatever you want to, anything, so those who are in HR, I think, see themselves in a very broad way and don't get scared of technology, master the technology, influence those who develop technology by telling them what kind of technology you want. If HR does not articulate their needs, if HR doesn't do competency mapping, doesn't go to the micro level. I think it's a very interesting video we had seen in the last session. Go to the macro level. then come to the micro level. Ultimately, when you go down, it is energy. I think HR should go to that particular level and be able to document the way in which this energy gets generated and it gets labeled as a competence or attribute or anything of that kind, and suggest to the IT people, this is what I want you to capture. Then only your AI is likely to be helping us to do whatever we want to do. When you do that, I think the whole world will be at the feet of the HR people. That is going to be the kind of a thing. All right, I hope I made the point. I want to now conclude. There are so many things. Conclude by saying in future ahead, we need to change the language that we use in HR, competency language. AI can help develop culture language. AI can identify training needs, can bring more objectivity in assessments, can enhance coaching capabilities, and so many things. And therefore, I think learn technology and go on. So I want to conclude once again by reading, therefore, what am I saying in AI? AI is a maximized, synergized, collective, cumulative intelligence stored in a dynamic jar, ever expanding. It has the risk of altering natural intelligence. Make it dumb for those who respect it more than their own natural intelligence. So don't become dumb. It is a new religion that has phenomenal capability to integrate people or divide them and destroy them. So the lesson is, make it to serve you for sustainability, but not master you. Let it not master you. I hope these thoughts are of some use. As I mentioned, I have done some kite flying here, and it should stimulate the HR people to get energized, work with IT, and get the kind of tools, technology tools that we need, or the people need, the society needs. Not just say, you develop and then I will use it. I think that's the wrong way of looking at it. All the best for the HR fraternity in all this.